This is the Classic Baseball Broadcast Network, where we believe there is nothing like hearing about history from those who lived it. Listen to our full catalog of broadcasts at classicbaseballbroadcast.com. If you enjoy the podcast, please help me out and do one of three things. Follow, subscribe this podcast, and leave a review. It really helps. Share us with your baseball friends. Let them know about us. Or jump over to members.ThisDayInBaseball.com. Join our email list, community, and our family of baseball podcasts.
WIZR-FM now takes pleasure in bringing you Major League Baseball action with the New York Mets and St. Louis Cardinals direct from St. Louis. Tonight's game made possible by Junior Rama of Johnstown and Mr. William Squire's shop, also Hearn's Pharmacy, Field and Baxter Insurance Agency Incorporated, your local Robin gas station, the Tri-Till Cycle Center, and the Rainbow Restaurant, Alvin Pearson Dodge, S. Vitor Furniture, Dorthbury Dairy Bar, and Trampo Pool.
Everybody, this is Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Gaynor. Greeting you from Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. Tonight, the second game of the three-game series between the Mets and the Cardinals. The Cardinals captured the opener last night, winning a pitching duel between Steve Carlton and Jerry Koosman by a score of 3-2. Weather-wise, it's been a hot summer day in St. Louis. The temperature up around 95 degrees. We have mostly clear skies as we approach game time. It now is starting to cool off. It will be a very pleasant evening for a ball game. The starting pitchers in tonight's game. For the visiting New York Mets, right-hander Nolan Ryan. And on the mound for St. Louis, a young, hard-throwing left-hander, Jerry Royce. The captain of the St. Louis Cardinals, Joe Torre, coming out to home plate to meet with Gil Hodges. And Tom Gorman's umpiring crew for the pregame discussion. We'll have action here in St. Louis in a very few moments. For the lineups and batting orders for tonight's game, let's check in with Ralph Gaynor. All right, Bob Murphy, and for the Mets, Ted Martinez will lead off. He'll be playing shortstop. Batting second, playing second base, Ken Boswell. Batting third, the left fielder, Cleon Jones. Batting fourth, playing first base, Don Glendening. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Tommy Agee. Batting sixth and playing third base, Bob Aspromani. Batting seventh and catching, Jerry Grody. Batting eighth, playing center field, Don Hahn. And the pitcher, Nolan Ryan, batting ninth. For the Cardinals, Lou Brock will lead off. He'll be playing left field. Batting second and playing second base, Ted Sizemore. Batting third, the first baseman, Matty Alou. Batting fourth, the National League's leading hitter, Joe Torre, playing third base. Batting fifth and catching, Ted Simmons. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Joe Haig. Batting seventh, playing center field, Jose Cruz. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Dal Maxwell. And the pitcher, Jerry Royce, batting ninth. The umpires for the game tonight, Tom Gorman will be behind the plate. Chris Belacutis, the umpire at first base, and Harry Wendelstamp, the umpire at second. Andy Olson calling the plays at third. First game of this three-game set going to the Cardinals by the score of 3-2 last night as Steve Carlton picked up the win. It was his 18th win of the year. Losing pitcher was Jerry Koosman. There in this ball game, it's going to be Nolan Ryan against hard-throwing left-hander Jerry Royce. Tomorrow we'll see Tom Seaver in the mound. We'll be on the air at 9 o'clock game time. Seaver will be opposed by the veteran Bob Gibson. Mets then move on to play Philadelphia and Montreal. Returning home for the Mayor's Trophy game. That game against the Yankees will be the start of a homestand starting on September 9th. They'll play Philadelphia the 10th, the 11th and 12th, Montreal the 13th and 14th, Chicago the 15th and 16th. Mets then move on to Pittsburgh and Chicago and playing their final homestand against Pittsburgh on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. And they close out their season with the St. Louis Cardinals the 27th, 28th, and 30th. Cardinals trailing Pittsburgh by 5 games. The Cubs are 7 1/2 back. Cubs played a doubleheader today. They won the first ball game, had the second game called at the end of 6 innings of play. They were losing the second ball game by a score of 8-1. That game will be continued tomorrow, starting in the 7th inning. Mets are in 4th place. They trail by 11 1/2 games. And now the St. Louis Cardinals take the field. In the Western Division, the Giants lead the Dodgers by 8 games, Atlanta by 9 1/2 games, and Cincinnati by 12 1/2 games. And while we got a chance here, we'd like to wish Sharon Grody, the wife of Jerry Grody, a very happy birthday. Her birthday being celebrated here in St. Louis today. Yesterday, Doug McGraw had a birthday, and now Sharon Grody. Yogi Berra coming out to take his first base coaching position. Eddie Yost will be at third. And coming to the leadoff position, we'll have Ted Martinez to lead off for the New York Mets. This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the description and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Well, the Mets against the Cardinals have played a total of 13 ball games. The Mets have won 8, the Cardinals 5. And this road trip starting off yesterday with the Mets losing a very tough ball game by a score of 3-2. So the second game about to get underway, and here for the play-by-play, Bob Murphy.
All right, Ralph. Hi, everybody. Ted Martinez will lead it off against Jerry Royce. Jerry Royce is a tall, lanky, hard-throwing young left-hander, a native of St. Louis, Missouri. The Cardinals brought him up in June of last season. He had gotten off to a fast start in the American Association. And a fastball high and away to Teddy Martinez, ball 1. Next pitch by the left-hander, a foul ball, bang into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jerry Royce has won 12 and lost 12. His lifetime record against New York, 1 win and 4 losses. Royce is among the hard-throwing young pitchers in the National League. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball right by Teddy Martinez. Teddy had 1 for 5 in last night's game. Manager Gil Hodges resting Bud Harrelson for a few days. The 1-2 delivery. It's over. Strike 3 call. This time of the year, Bud usually gets down about 145 pounds, but it's tough to keep from falling into a batting slump. Bud did fall into one, and so now Gil gives him a couple of days off. It's good to have someone like Ted Martinez around so that Harrelson can get a couple of days off when he really needs it. Kenny Boswell doing the hitting. Kenny leads the Mets against left-hand pitching this year, batting .356 against the left-handers. And a foul ball whacked back toward the crowd. It will be out of play. Overall, Boswell hitting at .279. The Mets and the Cardinals wind up this series here in St. Louis tomorrow night. And what a matchup. Tom Seaver against Bob Gibson. Curve, low outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. During his high school days, and he was quite a high school star in these parts, Jerry Royce was primarily a first baseman. The 1-1 delivery. Boswell ducks, it goes over his head, 2 balls and a strike. From the time he signed a pro contract, he reached the major leagues in 2.5 years. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball over the outside corner. It is 2-2. Tom Gorman umpiring behind the plate. Chris Belacutis at first, Harry Wendelstedt at second, Andy Olson at third. We are just underway in the middle game of the series. And a line shot foul down the left field line going over the bullpen of the New York Mets.
Crowd here in St. Louis entertained for an hour before the game tonight by Rex Rossi and the Rough Riders. Trick riding, roping, all kinds of interesting things. The 2-2 delivery. Curve bounced in the dirt in front of the plate, 3-2 to Kenny Boswell. In St. Louis, the Mets have won 5 of the 7. At Shea Stadium, the two teams are even, 3-3. And it's over. Strike 3 call. Boswell knew it. Jerry Royce, the 22-year-old left-hander, getting off to a fast start, has struck out the first 2 hitters up. In 181 innings this year, Royce has 109 strikeouts. He is one of 4 Cardinal pitchers with over 100 strikeouts. And Cleon Jones takes a pitch over the outside corner, strike 1. Steve Carlton is the strikeout leader on the Cardinal staff with 154. Bob Gibson, 150. Reggie Cleveland, 120. And then Jerry Royce. And a grounder hit hard, a base hit to right for Cleon Jones. Cleon continues his hard hitting. Cleon is 5th in the National League in batting. He had 2 for 3 last night and came into this game tonight hitting at .329. Talk about being consistent. Cleon Jones has hit safely in 39 of the last 44 games he started. And over that span, he's hit about .367. 2 outs and 1 on. Don Clendenon. Clendenon had a good game last night with 3 for 4. The pitch by Royce, a curve in the dirt, handled by Ted Simmons. Cardinal mainstays this year have been Lou Brock, Joe Torre, and Ted Simmons. Royce checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. Inside and low to Clendenon. 2 balls, no strikes. Clendonon's batting average has come up now to .244. Still far from where he would like it to be, but it was down around .227. Swing and a miss at the fastball. 2-1. Tomorrow night, Tom Seaver pitches against Bob Gibson. It will be their 3rd matchup of the year. They locked up twice earlier in the year with Seaver winning both. Tom trying for his 16th win tomorrow night. Over the inside corner strike to Clendenon, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bob Gibson, after a slow first half of the season, has been pitching very strong ball the second half of the year. Tom Seaver has pitched well all year, but in particular, since the All-Star break, he has been almost untouchable. The 2-2 delivery hit foul in behind Eddie Yost, coaching at third. Cardinal lineup tonight has Matty Alou playing first. Ted Sizemore was in right field last night, is playing his normal second base this evening. Dal Maxwell at short and Joe Torre at third. Lou Brock in left, Jose Cruz in center. Joe Haig, who played first base last night, is in right field. The pitcher is Jerry Royce, and Ted Simmons is the catcher. Pitching 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He threw the fastball by Clendenon. And Royce struck out the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. In the middle of the first inning, the New York Mets nothing. The St. Louis Cardinals coming to bat.
It's summer saving time at SB Tours Furniture in Brownalbin. Yes, SB Tours' bigger than ever summer clearance sale is now in full swing, bringing you store-wide savings of up to 33 1/3 off on all your furniture needs. Living room furniture looking a bit worn? How about that new appliance you've been wanting? What better time to select that extra chair for the desk or those new beds the kids really need? Whatever your household needs, you get more for less right now during SB Tour's summer clearance sale, with savings up to 33 1/3 off on all your furniture needs. And while you're there, be sure to get the closeout price on all summer furniture at SB Tours of Port Albert, where quality is king. After 63 years, they must be doing something right. And you'll be right when you make your furniture selections now and save during the big summer clearance sale.
Nolan Ryan returns to the starting rotation this evening, hoping to have solved his problems with the lack of control. Nolan, after a beautiful start this year, he at one time had won 8 and lost only 4. Has lost 8 of his last 9 decisions, mainly because he lost his rhythm and with it his control. So Nolan Ryan goes back to the hill to start with Jerry Grody behind the plate. Don Clendenin playing first, Kenny Boswell at second, Ted Martinez at short, Bob Aspermonte at third. Leon Jones in left, Don Hahn in center, and Tommy Agee around and right. Lou Brock will lead off. Brock, with his great speed and base running know-how, dominated the game last night. He eventually came home in the 7th inning with a winning run on a wild pitch. He puts so much pressure on a pitcher when he's on base. He stole twice last night, raising his total to 51. A new major league record. Brock is the only man in the history of the game to steal 50 or more bases 7 consecutive years. Lou Brock hitting .323. Here's the windup by Nolan Ryan and the pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. Next pitch on the way. Just missed inside. Ryan and Grody thought they had a strike. It's 2 balls and no strike. Don Hahn not figuring that Brock will get around on Ryan. He plays him over toward the alley in left center. Aspermonte in close at third. Way outside, ball 3, 3-0. It's always quite a problem for Ryan if he walks a great base runner like Lou Brock, because Nolan does have that big motion, and it's hard to keep the runners close. The 3-0 delivery. A call strike on the outside corner, 3-1. Earlier this year, Ryan shut out the Cardinals. Ball 4, Brock is on. Lou Brock opens up with a walk in the last of the first inning. Ted Sizemore coming up. Ryan is the first to tell you that he is as much at a loss as to why he suddenly lost his control as anybody else. Lou Brock on first base. Let's keep an eye and see if he goes. A throw to first, not in time. Ryan whips the ball over there sidearm. One thing a pitcher must do with Brock on base is mix them up and not throw to first base the same way every time. Here's the pitch. And a curveball breaks over, a call strike. Ryan worked with the fastball and walking Brock, and he starts Sizemore off with a curve. The infield at double play depth at second and short. Aspermonte even with the bag wide of the line at third. And a drive going foul deep down the left field line and back into the seats, but a foul ball. No score, last half of the first. Now Ryan checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch on the way. Look out. High and inside. He hit the dirt getting out of the way. And that one was really fired by Nolan Ryan. That kind of pitch, Ralph, will make you think a little bit, won't it?
I'll say it will.
Throw to first, not in time. Ryan throws so hard. He doesn't throw at anybody, but he has been particularly wild the last 6 weeks, which will keep the hitters mighty loose. Now the pitch, bounced foul. He threw him a curve. The count stays 1-2. One thing about having a pitcher like Ryan in the ball game, Ralph, they're not going to start a beanball war with you.
Strangely here, he has been wild with his fastball, and he's gotten every curveball over.
1-2 to Ted Sizemore. Matty Alou, the on-deck batter. And another throw to first by Nolan Ryan. Many times Ryan will settle down after about the third inning and get much better control. When his arm gets just a little bit tired, he has better control. The runner goes. The pitch is inside. The throw to second. Safe. Close play. The Brock is safe. His 52nd stolen base. Number 52 for Lou Brock, the Major League leader in stolen bases. Fastball by Ryan was just inside. Grody made a good throw, but Brock beat it. The 2-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He got him with a high hard lick. 1 out and a runner at second base. Matty Alou coming up. Matty hitting .312 of the year, and Jerry Grody goes out to the mound. Following the game tomorrow night, the Mets fly to Philadelphia. And they have a 5-game series against the Phillies. Thursday night, Friday night, a doubleheader Saturday evening, and a Sunday game, and then on to Montreal. Ryan off the stretch. Curve to Matty Alou, and it's over. A call strike. And again, Ryan gets his curve ball over. Vern Benson coaching at third. Ken Boyer coaching first. Fastball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matty Alou. The National League's leading batter, Joe Torre, is waiting on deck. Curve, a swing and a miss. Big curve ball by Nolan Ryan, and Matty Alou missed it by a wide margin. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Matty, a hit maker. Left-hand batter stands feet close together. Bats out of a crouch. The pitch by Nolan Ryan, way inside, and the batter, Matty Alou, hit the dirt. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Don Hahn, the Mets center fielder, playing Matty Alou over toward the alley in left center. Martinez trying to keep Brock close. Breaks for the bag, a whirl, but no throw is made. Ted Martinez working to keep Brock close to second base. The 2-2 delivery. Ground ball hit down to first. Clendenin grabs it. The race to the bag, and Matty Alou beats Ryan. It will be scored a base hit. Ryan, like Matty Alou, beat him to the bag. Hard hit ground ball taken deep behind the bag by Clendenin, who underhanded the ball. And Ryan just did not get there soon enough. He let Matty Alou beat him. And those are the kind of mistakes that really makes the job tough. Runners on first and third, and one of the real good fastball hitters in all of baseball, Joe Torre, stepping in. Leads the National League in batting, hitting .361. The infield hoping for a chance to make 2 and get out of the inning. Martinez playing toward the hole at short against Joe Torre. Here's the pitch by Ryan, and the fastball is low, 1 ball, no strike. Lou Brock is on third. Matty Alou on first base, 1 away. There goes the runner, Matty Alou, at a ground ball, bounced into right field for a base hit. Brock comes in to score. Matty Alou is racing to third, and the Cardinals lead 1-0. Matty Alou broke from first base on the pitch. An unusual base hit for Joe Torre. He hit down on the ball. It took an extremely high hop. It must have bounced 30 feet in the air, over Clendenin's head and into right field. Ralph, how do you think he hit that ball to make it react that way?
Well, it's that AstroTurf, hard surface, and naturally get a much bigger bounce out of it. And there's no doubt about it helping the hitter getting base hits, because it does accelerate the speed of the ball and also the height of the bounce.
The hitter is Ted Simmons, batting left. Runners at first and third. A runner's in. The curveball over, strike one call. We'll have warm-up action for the Mets now. Charlie Williams starts loosening up. Curve inside and low to Ted Simmons. 1 ball and 1 strike. Simmons hitting .294, and he has 60 runs batted in. That RBI for Joe Torre is 113. Swing and a miss at a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Torre caught up with Willie Stargell of the Pirates for the league lead in RBIs. Now Ryan off the stretch delivers. Strike 3 called. A fastball in the inside corner. 2 men away. Simmons is caught looking. With 2 men away, runners on first and third, Joe Haig will be hitting. Haig playing right field tonight, left-hand hitter. Joe Haig batting at .236. Matty Alou is on third and Joe Torre on first. 1 run has scored. Ryan into the set position. At a curve, inside and low, ball 1 to the left-hand hitter. Charlie Williams sits down. Ron Taylor gets up in the bullpen. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball inside. 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 delivery is swung on and foul back over the screen toward the press box. 2 balls and a strike to Joe Haig. Nolan Ryan appears to have real good stuff. Matty Alou should have been out, but Ryan let Alou beat him to the bag at first on a ground ball taken by Clendenin. And the ball by Torre, the base hit to right field. He hit it late, hit down on it. It took a very high hop and went into right field. The 2-1 pitch. It is up high, 3-1. Jose Cruz, the center fielder, is scheduled up next. Ryan working behind of the batter. Around comes the arm. Fouled. Again back up on the screen. Now it's 3-2. Nolan Ryan walks off the mound now to work up the new ball. Tonight in Pittsburgh, the Phillies are leading the Pirates 4-0 going to the 6th. Nolan Ryan checks the runners at first and third. 3-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the side is retired. Ryan throwing very hard, and he struck out the side. Both pitchers struck out the side in the first inning. St. Louis scoring 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 1 inning, the Cardinals won, the Mets nothing. The New York Mets will be going to Philadelphia and Montreal before returning to Shea. They come back to Shea on September 9th. Beg your pardon? On the 9th of September, the Mayor's Trophy game. The Mets playing the Yankees. The homestand then opens Friday night, the 10th, against Philadelphia. So, as you make your plans for the next homestand at Shea starting on the 9th, you'll enjoy it even more if you're even more familiar with the players of the New York Mets by thumbing through the revised edition of the Mets yearbook. It's just off the presses. Has the 4-color photo of the current team in the centerfold, a 2-page photo that is nice for framing. 64 pages altogether, 31 of the 64 are in color. Many candid shots that are just great. Plus all the biographical information about all of the players. To get your copy by mail, send $1 to Mets Yearbook Department, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. The zip code is 11368. Or if you prefer, you can get your copy at Shea Stadium at the concession stand. The Phillies lead the Pirates 5-0 at the end of 4.5 innings in Pittsburgh. This afternoon, the Cubs had a doubleheader. Won the first game in 10 innings. Tommy Agee leading off, and he takes high, ball 1. But in the second game, that was called because of darkness at the end of 6. Montreal was in front 8-1 after scoring 8 runs in the 6th inning. Inside to Tommy Agee, ball 2. That game will be completed tomorrow. They'll pick it up right where they stopped it. Montreal will be hitting in the top of the 7th inning and leading 8-1. And a foul back toward the screen. Tonight, Cincinnati 1, San Diego 0 at the end of 6. Fred Norman and Wayne Simpson are the pitchers. Wes Parker hit a 2-run homer in the first inning in the Astrodome this evening. Jerry Royce delivers high and away, 3-1 to Tommy Agee. The Dodgers 3, the Astros 0 after 3 innings. Doyle Alexander and Ron Cook are the pitchers. Phillies 5, Pirates 0 after 4.5. And a foul back upstairs, no play. At Pittsburgh, Barry Lurch is pitching for the Phillies. Bob Moose was the Pirates starter. Veal came on in the 3rd. The other National League game later tonight, Atlanta at San Francisco. Payoff pitch to Tommy Agee is swung on, foul tip. He stays in there. At Yankee Stadium, Washington 0, the Yankees 0 after 4 innings. Dick Bosman pitching against Mike Kekich. Baltimore 3 and the Red Sox 3. They're in the 8th inning up at Fenway Park in Boston. Next pitch to Tommy Agee is fouled off to the right. It will be into the crowd. He had a lot of wood behind it. In the Oriole-Red Sox game, Jim Palmer, the Baltimore pitcher, Luis Tiant has replaced Gary Peters. 1 home run in the game by Andy Etchebarren of the Birds, his 7th of the year. 2 high, ball 4. Agee opens with a walk. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
NCR FM Johnstown.
Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson. Bob Aspromonte is the hitter. And Jerry Royce delivers a fastball at the letters for a call strike. Cleveland and Detroit playing a twilighter in Detroit. The Tigers won the first game 6-1. A 4-hitter by Joe Coleman. And a line drive caught by Sizemore, thrown to Matty Alou, double play. Bob Aspromonte hitting in very tough luck. Hard hit line drive. Sizemore reached over his head, grabbed it, and whipped the ball immediately to Matty Alou, and they doubled up Tommy Agee. 2 outs and nobody on. Jerry Grote had 1 for 4 in last night's game. He also had a collision at the home plate with Ted Simmons, knocked the ball loose, and scored a run. High and away, it's ball 1. Jerry's taken a lot of bumps and bruises and hard knocks of late. The Cardinals lead 1-0. And Grote takes the pitch inside and low. It's ball 2. In the first game of the Twilight doubleheader at Detroit, Norm Cash hit his 27th home run. He now has tied Reggie Smith and Bill Melton for the American League lead. Inside, ball 3, 3-0. In the second game, Vince Colbert will pitch for Cleveland, Joe Niekro for the Tigers. Milwaukee won, Kansas City nothing after 1 inning. Al Fitzmaurice pitching against Skip Lockwood. Outside, ball 4. Grote walks on 4 pitches. Second walk in the inning by Jerry Royce, who will bring up Don Hahn. The White Sox are in Minnesota. No score at the end of 1. Tom Bradley and Jim Cott pitching. Later tonight, Oakland at California. Right-hand hitter Don Hahn takes inside, letter high, ball 1. We are really seeing some hard-throwing pitchers in this 3-game series. Inside, ball 2. It's 2-0. And Joe Torre, the Cardinal captain, calls time from third and goes to the mound. Ted Simmons comes out to join him. Both pitchers in this game tonight, Jerry Royce, who's 22, and Nolan Ryan, 24. Rely on smoke. They throw hard. And tomorrow night, well, it's Tom Seaver and Bob Gibson. The 2-0 delivery, inside, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes, and Hahn takes a look down toward Eddie Yost, coaching at third. .30 delivery. It's taken for a strike, 3-1. Grote with a short lead off first. The pitch to Hahn, a line drive, base hit to center field. Jerry Grote moves to second, takes the turn and stops. Jose Cruz playing the ball back into the shortstop, Dal Maxwell. Runners on first and second, 2 men away. And Nolan Ryan will be up. That's getting a bad break in this inning. Aspromonte hit a hard line drive into a double play. As a hitter, Nolan Ryan has 5 hits and 41 times at bat. A 122 average. Fastball over, strike 1. St. Louis 1, New York nothing. This is the top half of the second. At a swing and a miss, another fastball, strike 2. Both of these young fireballers figure to use a lot of pitches before the game is over. Two runners take a lead. The pitch to Nolan Ryan. Misses outside, 1-2. Ryan does not get many hits during a season, but he is quite strong, and when he does make that good contact, he can give it quite a ride. Jerry Grote on second, Don Hahn on first. In comes the pitch now to Ryan. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Strikeout number 4 for Jerry Royce. The side is out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. At the end of an inning and a half, the St. Louis Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
This really has been another great season of Mets baseball with the North Philly Dairy Bar. And remember to stop in for your early morning papers to check game results while you have your first cup of coffee in the morning. In the evening, why not stop by and pick up a half-gallon of your favorite ice cream and treat all the folks at home. Remember, dairy products help build strong and healthy bodies. The place to get them, the North Ferry Dairy Bar, 213 North Ferry Street in Johnstown.
St. Louis will have the bottom third of the order, hitting against Nolan Ryan and the Cardinals second. Jose Cruz, Dal Maxwell, and Jerry Royce. The Mets will open their next homestand at Shea Stadium on Friday night, September the 10th. Following the Mayor's Trophy game at Shea on Thursday night the 9th. Left-hand hitter Jose Cruz facing Nolan Ryan. And a fastball at the letters, strike one. Ryan appeared to have good stuff as he struck out the side in the first inning. Swing and a miss, strike two. The young outfielder, Jose Cruz, hitting at 248. Swing and a miss, he got him on three pitches. Number 4 for Nolan Ryan. Well, we're in the second inning, and each of these young fastball pitchers already has 4 strikeouts. Dal Maxwell is the hitter. The veteran Cardinals shortstop is batting at 218. Every year in spring training, they say somebody's going to take Maxie's job away. They never do. He is very reliable. Pitch by Nolan Ryan is high, ball one. Always a light hitter, but he'll get timely hits for you. A very dependable shortstop. Around against the arm and a high foul fly. Wow. Reached on an infield hit when Ryan failed to cover in time. Brock went to third. He came in on Torrey's hit. Curveball is high, 2-1. With the kind of speed that Brock possesses, he could have scored from second on that base hit by Joe Torrey. Torrey, a right-hand pull hitter, bounced one over Clendonen's head into right field. Ryan's 2-1 pitch is high, ball 3, and he drops behind on Dal Maxwell. Into the windup, Nolan Ryan. Down comes the pitch. Down the middle for a call strike. Maxwell was taking. That extends the count to 3-2. Pitching 3-2. Ground ball hit toward the middle, off the glove of Martinez. A base hit for Dal Maxwell. Teddy Martinez going to his glove side, running towards second, got a glove on it, but could not come up with it. The Redbirds have their third hit, and coming on to bat is Jerry Royce. Royce has 6 hits in 55 times at bat. A batting average of 109. We'll really have something to watch here tomorrow night if these two ace right-handers are on their game, and they usually are. Tom Seaver and Bob Gibson. Aspromonte moving way in now, looking for the bunt. Lou Brock, the on-deck batter. At a fastball, high, ball 1.
With Seaver and Gibson working, and they both work exceptionally fast on the mound, they could set a record for the fastest game of the year, except for one thing, Bob. The umpire is going to be Chris Pellicudis, and he can't get the strike call up fast enough for him to set a record.
And the pitch on the way. Bunted foul by Jerry Royce. Back towards the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. He may be forced to call him a little faster with those two fellows pitching. They like to get into that good groove, and just about the minute they get that ball back, they're ready to go again. When Nolan Ryan was doing well the first half of the year, he was pitching faster than he ever had. The 1-1 pitch. Fronted off the mask of Jerry Grote. There's a lot of theories on that, Ralph. Some pitching coaches and managers say, get in a groove, work rapidly. And other pitching coaches, other managers will say, take more time, be more deliberate, think more about what you're doing.
As a ball player playing behind a pitcher that works fast, it's a lot easier to play behind a fast-working pitcher than a slow-working pitcher.
Just like it's a lot easier to play behind control than a pitcher who is wild. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Royce, the Cardinal pitcher. He squares around, tries strike 3 call. He didn't offer at it, but it was right down the middle. Strikeout number 5 for Nolan Ryan, and Lou Brock comes up. These 2 youngsters keep it going the way they have started out. We're going to have a lot of strikeouts this ball game tonight. 9 strikeouts, and we're in the second inning. Lou Brock reached on a walk. He stole second. It was his 52nd stolen base of the year. And the pitch by Nolan Ryan. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Ryan appears that he's not trying to save anything for later. He's fallen on hard times, and he seems to be bound and determined to get it done. Next pitch on the way, curve inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lou Brock having quite a year. Brock is hitting at .320. And a foul hit deep down the left field line over into the crowd. 1 ball and 2 strikes. When Brock has that average over 300. His stolen base total starts soaring. He stole 2 bases last night and has 1 already tonight. Dow Maxwell on first, 2 men away, last of the second. The 1-2 pitch to Brock. High, outside, 2-2. Gary Gentry will open the series against the Phillies in Philadelphia on Thursday night. Pitching 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Second inning in a row that Ryan has struck out the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. At the end of 2, the Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
Bob Schrippel invites you to talk to him about the swimming pool that has the best of everything. Famous heritage pools, beautifully styled, easily installed and priced for your family. Just imagine the endless hours of healthful, carefree fun you all enjoy. Start by calling Bob Schrippel at 762-3525 between 12 and 1 or anytime after 4 p.m. Let him help you treat yourself to a delightful new world of pleasure to be shared by young and old alike. The number again, 762-3525 to put yourself in the swim of things.
We go to the third inning here in St. Louis, and to pick up the action for you, here's Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Bob Murphy, and hi, everyone. And in the third, the Mets will have their leadoff batter, Ted Martinez, leading off. Well, Wayne Garrett is happy tonight. His brother, Adrian, was purchased by Oakland. He was playing at Tacoma, where he had 43 home runs, and he is now in the major leagues with the Oakland Ball Club in the American League. Martinez struck out his first time up. Right-hand batter hitting .273. On the mound, Gary Royce. He has given up no runs, allowed 2 hits, while striking out 4 and walking 2. He starts off with a curve, gets it over, strike 1. And the pitch back to Martinez is fouled back out of play. Strike two. And the next pitch is fouled off into the stands on the first base side. So the count stays at strike two. Cardinals leading 1-0. They got a run in the first inning. And Martinez looks at the curve low and inside. Lou Brock walked, stole second base. Matty Lou got an infield hit when Ryan failed to cover at first base in time. And Joe Torre drove him in with a bouncer over first. There's a fastball high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Torre with his 113th RBI of the season. He leads the major leagues now. Passing Willie Stargell, he was tied with Stargell at 112. Pittsburgh got 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th. It's now 5-2 Philadelphia in that ball game. There's a pitch called strike 3, and Martinez is struck out. That's 5 strikeouts for Royce and 11 strikeouts in the ball game, and we're in the 3rd inning. Now with 1 away, the batter will be Ken Boswell. Ken was struck out his first time up. Boswell 1 for 4 last night, hitting a .279 for the year. And the first pitch is fouled back out of play, strike 1. In the month of August, the Mets have won 12 and lost 16 ball games. They have a record of 66 and 65 for the year. Pitched low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets trailing Pittsburgh by 11.5 games. Cardinals are in second place. They're 5 games back of the Pirates. 1-1 pitch to Boswell, hanging curve, inside and high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cubs are 7.5 games out in 3rd place. They won the first game of their doubleheader today and had their second game suspended after they were trailing 8-1. There's a ground ball chopped out first base. Fielded by Matty Alou. He goes to the bag in time for the out. That ball game will be resumed in Chicago prior to the regularly scheduled game tomorrow. Cleon Jones now up. 2 men out. We're in the top of the 3rd. The Cardinals leading 1-0. Cleon singled his first time up. In this series, he's 3 for 4, and he's batting .331 for the year. He's had at least 1 base hit in 39 of his last 44 ball games. And Royce with his first pitch. Breaking ball, it's high and outside. Ball 1. Cardinals play Jones as an opposite field hitter. The center fielder, Jose Cruz, is now being moved a little bit more towards straightaway center. 1-0 pitch to Jones. Fouled off. 1-1. Game number 132 for the Mets. After this one, 30 more to go. 1-1, the count to Jones. And the next pitch, outside and low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Royce has a record of 12 wins and 12 losses this year, and he's 1-1 against the Mets. He's 1-4 lifetime. Next pitch hit hard. The shortstop, Maxwell, one-handed as he moves to his left, picks it up, goes to first base for the out. Hard hit ball, but Maxwell turning the ball into an out. A 1-2-3 inning for Jerry Royce, and the score. After 2.5 innings, the Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
The fashion sensations are happening at Juniorama of Johnstown. Fashions that can light up your life on campus or in the world of business. Juniorama makes it their business to know what you want when you want it. And what most smart gals seem to want is more of the Panther collection by Collegetown. And Juniorama has more, including the new velvet selections in hot pants or flares to mix with your favorite blouse. Available in green and mauve. Fashion perfect for any occasion. The casual look goes fancy with tweed imported Chanel pants by Panther. Add a striped button front vest, then tie it all together with a satin V-yoke shirt. Altogether, you'll be the hit of the pant set. Complete range of sizes from 5 to 15 in the Panther line at Juniorama of Johnstown. And when it comes to hot shorts, Panther knows how to make them outstanding. And you the center of attention in crushed pile hot shorts. Add the look of glossy velvet with a cotton blend puff print shirt. Blaze the fashion trail this fall in the Panther collection from Collegetown at Juniorama of Johnstown.
We're going to the bottom of the third. Cardinals leading 1-0 in spite of the fact that Nolan Ryan has struck out 6 batters through his first 2 innings. Ryan in his 100th ball game here tonight has a record of 28 wins, 35 losses. Has a lifetime mark against the Cardinals of 4 wins and 2 losses. He's 1-0 against them this year. And his first pitch is in over the inside corner for a called strike as he starts off against Ted Sizemore. Ted was struck out his first time up. Ryan struck out 3 in the first and 3 in the second. Comes back with a curve and just misses. It's 1-1. Ryan has walked only 1 batter, but it has cost him a run. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch. And it's lined to left field. It'll be a base hit. Leon Jones comes in to field it on 1 hop, and Sizemore holds at first base. So the Cardinals have a man on. And the batter coming up is Matty Alou. And we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WIZR-FM Johnstown.
Ralph Kiner along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from St. Louis, Missouri. Matty Alou, the batter, in the first pitch, a fastball outside, ball 1. Alou had an infield hit his first time up. Actually, it was a gift-based hit because it was hit down to first to Clendenin, and Ryan was late covering at first base, and it was ruled by the official score a single. Next pitch is chopped out to second. Boswell fields it, goes to second base in time, and just in time, and Sizemore is forced out. So Boswell getting the head runner. Good play by the second baseman. And Alou now is on at first base with Joe Torre coming up. Joe drove in a run his first time up with a bouncing single over first. Now has 113. He leads the league in runs batted in, actually the majors, and also leads the majors in batting average with a 362 average. Scoring now with 190 hits. He's a cinch to get 200 again. Had 200 last year. Ryan working from the set position. Cardinals lead 1-0, and the pitch to Torre in under his chin. He has to back away, ball 1. Last night, Torre had a 9-game hitting streak stop, so he now is in 10 of his last 11 ball games with his base hit here tonight. Ryan ready, and the pitch. Curveball swung on and missed, and Ryan has a good curve tonight. He's been able to get it over, and it has really exploded. That out, incidentally, that Alou hit into, the first out the Mets have made in the field. All the other outs have been on strikeouts. The pitch back to Torre, swung on and fouled, and the ball fouled off Jerry Grody, and he's hurt. Tom Gorman calling time and checking Grody out. Ball appeared to hit him on the hand. And it doesn't look as though it's too serious as Grody now gets down to give out the sign. One and two to count on Joe Torre. Alou at first base. He's had 15 stolen bases in 22 attempts this year. Ryan in the set position. Alou breaks away, got a big jump. The pitch is high and inside. No throw at all. And it's a stolen base, and Alou now is 16. And he was off and running before Ryan ever delivered the ball. So there was no chance at all for Jerry Grody. In fact, Alou got off so fast he actually had to stop and then continued on. A runner at second base, 1 man out. The count 2-2 on Joe Torre. Cardinals leading 1-0. And the pitch. Curveball, but low. 3-2. Ryan stepping up on top of the pitching rubber. Getting a sign from Jerry Gordy. Lou with a good lead at second. And the 3-2 pitch. It is swung on and missed, and Torrey is fooled with the curveball and struck out. And that's about as bad as you'll ever see Torrey look on a pitch. That is Ryan's 7th strikeout in 2 2/3 innings. And it brings up Ted Simmons, who has struck out his first time up. Simmons batting .293. Batting from the left-hand side, and the first pitch, curveball over the inside corner, a strike. Simmons is hitting at .330 from the left-hand side of the plate and .213 from the right-hand side. Next pitch, a fastball hit deep to left. Jones back. He is back to the warning track, turns and makes a great running catch. Leon Jones turning one way and then having to turn back again and catching the ball over his shoulder to retire the side. So a great play by Cleon Jones as he took that drive off the bat of Ted Simmons, and the side retired. No runs, one hit, no errors, a man left at second, and the score. At the end of 3, the Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
Like a prince, you look like a duke. You have that royal feeling. You can rest assured, you're dressed assured. Your clothes are fit for a king.
Take a look at Merritt this fall at Sir William Squire Shop, West Main Street in Johnstown. Today's styles have changed, not the 70s styles warmed over. Merritt sets it all apart with things like deeper center vents, wider, more deeply notched lapels, more body shaping. In short, fashion elegance, starting as low as $90. Don't kid yourself. Styles have changed. You change too. Make it with Merritt from the Sir William Squire Shop, West Main Street in Johnstown.
Fourth inning, the Cardinals leading 1-0, and the first batter for the Mets will be Don Clendenin. Pittsburgh Pirates got a run in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that ball game now 5-3 Philadelphia after 6. Barry Lurch still in for the Phillies. His last win was May 22nd. Bob Moose started for the Pirates. Veal and Keeson have been in the ball game. First pitch to Don Clendenin is ball 1. Don struck out his first time up. On the mound, Jerry Royce. And the left-hander back, and there's a hard smash down to third, taken on the short hop by Joe Torrey, and the throw to first base in time for the out. One away, and the batter coming up is Tommy Agee. Tommy walked his first time up on the 3-2 pitch. Agee's average at .281. 13 home runs, 48 RBI. Agee last night was 0 for 4. And Jerry Royce into the windup. First pitch is inside, ball 1. The end of 5, the Dodgers 4, Houston 1. Alexander against Cook. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. At the end of 7 1/2 innings, Cincinnati 1, San Diego nothing. Simpson out of the ball game in the 8th inning. Ranger now pitching. Norman still in for San Diego. One pitch to Agee. Breaking ball too low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Next pitch, and Agee swings and misses. 2-2. Washington got 5 runs in the 6th inning. They lead the Yankees 5-1 after 6. Kekich started for the Yankees. Dick Bosman going for Washington. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch just low. 3-2 to Agee. Once again, Tommy has worked the count full. Detroit beat Cleveland 6-1 in the first game. In the second, no score after one. Vince Colbert against Joe Niekro. 3-2 pitch fouled off, so the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. At the end of 3, Kansas City won, Milwaukee won. At the end of 2, the White Sox 2, Minnesota nothing. And again, the 3-2 pitch, and it's low, and Agee has walked for the second time. So the Mets have the tying run at first base with 1 man out, and the batter coming up is Bob Aspromani. Bob lined into a double play his first time up. Aspromani hitting .231 for the season, 5 home runs, 29 RBIs. He takes the strike. Better high strike, strike one. Agee short lead at first base. Change up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 1 the count. And the left-hander back. Pitches inside. Moves Aspromani back. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jerry Royce. Back again, and ball 3. 3-1. Jerry spells his name R-E-U-S-S. In case you're looking for it in the newspapers. 3-1. Agee at first. He's running. The pitch has popped up. Agee holds up. Coming out in front of the plate is Simmons to get under the ball. He makes the call and catch. 2 men away as Agee goes back to first base. That'll bring up Jerry Grody. Jerry walked in 4 pitches his first time up. 2 home runs. 32 RBIs. Cardinals leading 1-0. They got a run back in the first inning. Agee, the club leader in stolen bases, but he has been playing with a bad knee. Tommy has 25 out of 30 stolen bases. And Royce, the left-hander, with his first pitch to Grody, is chopped out towards second. Sizemore moves to his left, fields the ball on the edge of the artificial grass, throws to first base to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, a man left on, and the score after 3.5 innings. The Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
This is P.B. Race with a word about color. You know, in sports broadcasting, there's always a guy on hand who takes care of the color. Stories about the players and the size of the crowd and all that sort of thing. Well, when it comes to decorating your home, there's a guy on hand who takes care of the color, too. He's your DeVoe paint dealer. And right now, fans, he's featuring a line of paints more colorful than a Father's Day tie. Wonder Tones. Wonder Tones is DeVoe's quality interior latex paint in hundreds of right now colors. The colors of the 70s, created by the experts at Celanese, the people who make a lot of the modern fibers used in home furnishings and fabrics. So a DeVoe Wonder Tones room is more than painted. It's decorated. And if there are a lot of little hands around the house, the missus will love the way a Wonder Tones wall washes clean, time and time again. Take this tip from Pee-wee. Get Wonder Tones latex wall paint from your DeVoe dealer. He knows painting inside out.
We're going to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Cardinals up and leading by a score of 1-0. Nolan Ryan has given up 1 run. He's allowed 4 hits. He has struck out 7 in his first 3 innings and walked 1. And the one batter that he walked has scored the only run of the ball game. That was Lou Brock as he led off for the Cardinals in the first inning. It'll be Joe Haig, Jose Cruz, and Dal Maxwell for Ryan's first 3 batters here in the 4th inning. Haig struck out his first time up. leg, hitting .235 for the year. And the first pitch is in, a curveball for a called strike. Tom Gorman calling the balls and strikes. Chris Pellicus, the umpire at first. Harry Wendelstadt, the umpire at second, and Andy Olson at third. And Ryan's next delivery, a fastball is just low. 1-1. Now Ryan into the windup, and the 1-1 delivery. Curveball bounces in the dirt. It bounces by Grody. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ryan has won 28 in his lifetime Major League career, lost 35. This year he's won 9, lost 11. 2-1 pitch. High and inside, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. And at 3-1, the pitch is grounded out toward first base, backhanded. A good play by Clendenin. He throws to Ryan for the out. That was a do-or-die play. And Clendenin made a sweep at it, found it in his glove, and then made the play. 1 away, it brings up Jose Cruz. If you want your car to run cleaner, switch to Chevron gasoline with F310. It turns dirty exhaust into extra mileage. Jose Cruz was struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. He's batting .246, a left-hand batter. 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in. And Ryan's first delivery. Breaking ball inside the ball. And at 1-0, the pitch to Cruz. Over the inside corners, he backs away, 1-1. Cruz was 1 for 3 last night. Started the season in the minor leagues. Was brought up about halfway through the season. 1-1 delivery. Swung on and missed, and Ryan threw that one right by him. It's 1-2. This has been the best strikeout night Ryan has had in quite some time. One-two. And the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Cruz is struck out for the second time. That's strikeout number 8 for Nolan Ryan. Earlier this year, Ryan struck out 16. Now Dow Maxwell coming up. Dow had an infield hit his first time up. Single off the glove of the shortstop, Ted Martinez. Maxwell hitting .221, and he always hits the Mets well. 2 men away. Cardinals leading 1-0. And Ryan's first pitch to Maxwell. Fastball fouled into the stands, strike 1. In this series, Maxwell has had 2 hits and 4 times up. Cardinals end the season with the New York Mets at Shea Stadium. They'll be playing the Mets on the 27th, 28th, and 30th of September. Next pitch, a curve. It is just inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals think they have a great chance to catch the Pirates. They trail them by 5 games. 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball over this time as Maxwell flinches, and it's 1-2. This has been by far the best pitching performance for Ryan in a long time. The 1-2 delivery goes to the curve again, but misses down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 the count. And the pitch. Curveball, strike 3 called, and Ryan has his 9th strikeout in 4 innings, and he has retired the side in order. And the score at the end of 4, the Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing. And now again for the play-by-play, Bob Murphy, after a word from your local Coca-Cola bottler.
Ahern's Pharmacies on West Main Street in Johnstown and on the Arterial Shopping Plaza in Gloversville is renowned in this area as the best opportunity to save money on doctors' prescriptions. Prescriptions that are properly compounded and carefully filled to exact specifications. In filling your physician's prescriptions, Ahern's adds their own knowledge and experience. Your home-owned pharmacies are also headquarters for many other family needs. Things such as household items, gift ideas, and the full line of famous name cosmetics and beauty aids. When you need a prescription filled, simply call Ahern's Pharmacy, and they'll deliver it free of any extra charge.
Your family's health is a personal thing with us.
Over the first 4 innings, the St. Louis Cardinals, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. New York, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Don Hahn will be leading off against Jerry Royce in the 5th inning. Center fielder Hahn has one of the 2 hits given up by the left-hander. Cleon Jones has the other. Don Hahn batting at .228. He will be followed by Nolan Ryan and then Teddy Martinez. 22-year-old Jerry Royce came up to the Cardinals in June of last year. Won 7, lost 8. This year has won 12, lost 12. And the pitch thrown to Hahn, a fastball that is high, ball 1. Royce, a very hard thrower with a good curveball. When he has command of his pitches, he's very difficult to beat. He will have nights when he's wild. High, ball 2, 2 balls with no strikes. This evening, Royce has walked 3 and struck out 5 over the first 4 innings. The 2-0 delivery, outside, ball 3, 3-0. 14 strikeouts in the first 4 innings tonight. Nolan Ryan has 9, and Jerry Royce has 5. 3-0 delivery, over at the knees, a strike, 3-1. Hahn trying to coax a walk, which would bring Ryan up in a bunt situation. Mets trailing by a single run, the 3-1 delivery. And it's over, a called strike, and Gill had Hahn taking again. Tommy Agee has walked twice, and Jerry Grote walked once. Those are the 3 walks given up by Jerry Royce. And a foul back over the screen as Hahn goes after the 3-2. Tomorrow is the 1st of September, which means that Major League Ball clubs can bring up their talented young people from the minor leagues, providing their farm clubs are not involved in the playoffs. You can carry 40 players starting tomorrow. 3-2 delivery. Line drive, a base hit down the left field line for Don Hahn. Brock getting to it in a hurry, and Hahn will have to hold with a single. Well hit line drive over third and down the left field line. Nolan Ryan coming up. Tim Foley recently completed his military duty. Tomorrow, with the roster limit going up to 40, he will be reactivated. The Mets Tidewater Farm Club of the International League will be playing in the Shaughnessy playoffs, which I believe start on Saturday. Nolan Ryan stepping in close at third is Joe Torre waiting for the bunt. Ryan turns around, bunts, and it's a grab by Matty Alou, thrown to second, 1 to first, not in time. Ryan just gets there to break up a double play. Ryan bunted the ball very hard right into the glove of Matty Alou, who whipped the ball to Dow Maxwell to force out Don Hahn. One out and one on, top of the 5th inning. Ted Martinez, the batter. Ted has been up twice, both times been struck out. Martinez sitting at 270. Teddy spent most of this year at Tidewater, where he hit close to 300. Major League Baseball scouts that we've talked to around the country are all very high on Ted Martinez. High and away, ball 1. There are a number of scouts here in St. Louis. This time of the year, in the pennant races, you see a lot of top scouts. And a high fly over toward the right field line is a foul ball. Running for it is Sizemore, no play. Just beyond his reach. Clubs that are in contention and still with a chance to win the pennant have their top scouts out looking at the clubs they might play. Clubs that are out of contention have their top scouts out looking for possible trades when the season is over. Leon Hamilton, super scout for Buzzy Bavasi at San Diego, is here watching the series. They recently made a trade with Pittsburgh. Low and inside, 2-1. They apparently made a good trade. They traded Bob Miller to the Pirates for two young players. Both of the young players might help them in the future. Ed Acosta, the pitcher who came over in that deal, already has started 2 games, won one and pitched well in the other. The 2-1 delivery, Martinez bounces one to shortstop. Maxwell throws to second. Force play on Nolan Ryan. No chance for a double play. 2 men away, Martinez on first base. Kenny Boswell will hit. Kenny has been called out on strikes, bounced out to first. Nothing for 2. The Phillies 5 and the Pirates 3. They're in the 7th inning. Joe Horner has come on to replace Barry Lurch. Bruce Keeson, the third Pirate hurler. Left-hander against left-hander. The pitch by Royce. In the dirt, it bounced away from Simmons. Martinez is running. The throw not nearly in time. Martinez has marvelous speed. Wild pitch charged to Jerry Royce. Teddy Martinez is probably among the top 3 or 4 in the entire Mets farm system when it comes to running speed. They say that John Milner, the outstanding prospect down at Tidewater, is the fastest man in the whole organization. Kenny Boswell waiting, and he tried to hold on his swing, and apparently he did. 2 balls and no strikes. Tom Gorman is asked to check with third base umpire Andy Olson, and Olson agrees with Gorman. 2 balls, no strikes to Kenny Boswell. The Dodgers 5, the Astros 1, last of the 7th in Houston. Pass ball over the inside corner, 2-1. Each team has scored 1 run in the 9th inning. And Cincinnati tipped over San Diego 2-1. Wayne Granger, the winner in relief of Simpson. Al Severinsen, the loser. Over the inside corner, a call strike, 2-2 to Kenny Boswell. That was quite a pitching duel between Fred Norman and Wayne Simpson. The Reds win it 2-1 over San Diego. Right here, the Cardinals 1, the Mets nothing. We're in the 5th. Martinez leads from second. And a foul hit back into the crowd. Cleon Jones waiting his turn at bat. Kenny Boswell 1 for 4 in last night's game against Steve Carlton. 0 for 2 this evening against Jerry Royce. Pitching 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He got him with a blazing fastball. Strikeout number 6 for Jerry Royce. 15 so far in the game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 4.5 innings, the Cardinals won, the Mets nothing.
You never know when the unexpected happens. You're driving out of your driveway and wham. Or somebody steals away with your TV set at noon, believe it or not. But whenever the unexpected happens to your car, home, or business, you expect insurance to happen. And it does when you get that insurance through your local independent insurance agent. Fields & Baxter Agency, 14 North Market Street in Johnstown. They're the professionals, members of the National Association of Insurance Agents, who represent several fine companies, and they can help you get fast, fair payment on a claim, whether that claim involves a $10 theft or a $1 million catastrophe. For insurance that really is everything you expect, see the pros it pays car owners, homeowners, and businessmen to know. Fields & Baxter Agency Incorporated, 14 North Market Street in Johnstown. Call them at 762-4647. Fields & Baxter Agency, 14 North Market Street, Johnstown.
In the home fifth inning, with the Cardinals leading 1-0, Jerry Royce will be up against Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan still has the individual high for strikeouts in one game in the National League this year. Early this season, he struck out 16 in a game against San Diego. Jerry Royce struck out in the second. Bats him left-handed. Ryan winding. Here comes the pitch to the left-hand hitter, and it's high and away, ball one. Nolan has walked one, struck out 9. And the pitch to Jerry Royce, high, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Fastball on the inside corner, a call strike. It's 2-1. Ryan has had an excellent curveball in this game, and he has had command of it. He was wild the first 2 innings with his fastball. Swing and a miss, the fastball, 2-2. Nobody on, nobody out. Last half of the fifth inning, St. Louis 1, New York 0. The Cardinals scored in the first inning. Had a swing and a miss. He struck him out, number 10. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WIZR-FM Johnstown.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. Nolan Ryan has just posted his 10th strikeout in 4 1/3. At this point, not quite halfway through the game, he has fanned every member of the Cardinal batting order except Matty Alou. Swing and a miss by Lou Brock. Now up goes the leg, around comes the arm. Brock tries to drag a bunt, misses, strike 2. Lou Brock drew a walk. He stole second, moved to third on a base hit to deep first base by Matty Alou, a ball that Ryan let Alou beat him to the bag on. And he scored on a bouncing single into right off Torrey's bat, the only run of the game. The 2-strike delivery. Swing and a miss at a curve in the dirt. Grody up with it, and he tags Brock out. And that is the 11th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. Ryan struck out Lou Brock with a curveball that broke in the dirt. Ted Sizemore has struck out and singled to left, 1 for 2. And Nolan Ryan putting on a big show tonight here in St. Louis. He struck out 3 in the first inning, 3 in the second inning, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and he has 2 in the fifth. Right-hand batter Ted Sizemore waiting. The pitch by Nolan Ryan is over the outside corner, strike 1 call. Now the windup by Ryan. In comes the pitch, and a fly ball hit the right field. Tommy Agee over 2 strides, makes the catch. The side retired, 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. At the end of 5 innings, the St. Louis Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
Notice all the robins you see around lately? No, not the kind that fly south for the winter. The great new chain of robin gas and service stations that have been springing up all over the area. Everywhere you look, there's a new one, ready and waiting to give you the finest service and that great robin gas. Wherever you are in the area, one stop at any convenient robin location will tell you the meaning of the word service in service station. They are in business to please you. Let them know what you want, what you expect when you drive in. They'll appreciate knowing, and by offering you the kind of treatment you expect, they'll appreciate your continued patronage. Visit one of these Robin stations soon. Tom W. and Tommy Lizio on Chestnut Street and the Arterial, Joe Lizio at 390 North Perry Street in Johnstown, and Dick Stock at 198 South Main Street in Gloversville. Also, Ped Electric at 150 East State Street in Johnstown.
In the sixth inning, the New York Mets will have the heart of their batting order trying to do something with Jerry Royce. It has not been easy. Over the first 5 innings, Royce has allowed no runs and only 3 hits. The Pirates came up with 4 runs. And that was the groan you heard in the background a moment ago here in St. Louis. The Pirates trailing now lead Philadelphia by a score of 7-5. 7-5 at the end of 7. The Pirates got 4 runs in the last half of the 7th. Cleon Jones, 1 hit and 2 times at bat. Cleon singled to right in the first inning. An amazing number of strikeouts in the first 5 innings of this ballgame. Jerry Royce winding. His pitch to Cleon is taken high, ball 1. Royce has struck out 6 in 5 innings. But Nolan Ryan has fanned 11. Inside and low to Cleon, 2 balls and no strikes. 17 strikeouts in the first 5 innings. Pitching 2-0. High pop fly into shallow right field. Trailing out is Sizemore, coming in the right fielder Haig. It's Haig who makes the catch. Ball was so high in the air, either one could have taken it. 1 out, the base is empty. Cleanup batter, Don Clendenon. Clendenon has struck out and hit a hard smash to third and was thrown out. The matchup tomorrow night, Bob Gibson, 13-11. Tom Seaver, 15-8. And since the All-Star break, both have been going great guns. And a foul ball hit back upstairs, no play. "22-year-old Jerry Royce, a native of St. Louis, Missouri. And a curve over the inside corner, a call strike. Quite a few years between the time one graduated and the other entered. Jerry Royce and Bob Shuffing attended the same high school here in St. Louis. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Plymouth is happy again to be chosen as the Mets official car. Late last season, Jerry Royce turned in two hitters. Low and outside, it's 2-2. Two-two delivery to Clendenon and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. And that's the 7th strikeout for Jerry Royce. What a duel of young fireballers this is turning out to be. This year, Jerry Royce has 2 shutouts. Bob Gibson is the Cardinal leader with 4. Tommy Agee, the batter. Tommy has walked twice, and he takes inside and low, ball 1. Royce, wasting no time, delivers. And Agee lets it go. It's high, ball 2. Royce has walked 3 and fanned 7. Nolan Ryan has walked 1, struck out 11. The Cardinals lead 1-0. The only walk that Ryan has given up came around to score. The 2-0 pitch to Tommy Agee, a line drive into center field, a clean base hit. The fourth hit of the game for the New York Mets, a two-out single by Tommy Agee. Bob Aspermani hitting in hard luck in the second inning. With Agee on first after a walk, Aspermani hit a hard line drive into a double play. In the fourth inning, he popped one up to Ted Simmons. Matty Alou, playing first base, holds against the runner. A throw over. Not in time. Agee's third in the National League in stolen bases. But bear in mind, Tommy is playing on a very sore knee. The left-hander, Royce, checks the runner. The pitch. Ground ball hit foul down the third base line. Handled by Eddie Yost on the coaching lines at third. Mets play 5 games in Philadelphia, 3 in Montreal. They are back at Shea Stadium Thursday night, September 9th, with the Mayor's Trophy game. And open their homestand Friday night, September 10th, against Philadelphia. Fouled back into the screen, strike 2. Phillies have come up with 2 big home run hitters this year in rookie Willie Montanez and veteran Darren Johnson. That new ballpark in Philadelphia turned out to be a good home run hitter's park. Jerry Royce with a 2-strike advantage pitching to Aspermani. The pitch on the way, grounded foul again over the head of Eddie Yost. Twice the Mets have had a runner as far as second base. Jerry Grody got to second in the second inning, and Teddy Martinez reached second in the fifth inning. Now Aspermani cowtailing the bat around Coxon. Had a smash on the ground to second, a one-hopper taken by Sizemore. Thrown to Matty Alou in time, and again, Aspermani hits the ball hard, but steered it right at an infielder. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. At the end of 5 and a half innings, the St. Louis Cardinals won, the New York Mets nothing.
Hi, Mets fans. This is P.B. Reese with a topic that's probably big around your house these days if your place is anything like mine, and that's painting. Now, I'm not about to tell you painting's fun, but the people at DeVoe have taken as much work out of it as possible. They've done it with an interior latex paint called Wonder Tones. When Mama tells you it's time to paint, then Wonder Tones is the answer. I use it. It covers a wall fast and doesn't leave a room full of paint smell when you're all through. And brushes and rollers wash clean in water. The ladies like Wonder Tones wall paint because there are hundreds of bright new colors to choose from. You've heard the name Celanese, the company that makes modern fibers and plastics. Well, they're the same people who have created DeVoe's colors for Wonder Tones, the colors of the 70s. If you've got some walls that need brightening up, see your DeVoe paint dealer soon and put a little color in your life.
Matty Alou is the only Cardinal in the lineup who has not been struck out by Nolan Ryan in this ballgame. And Matty Alou will lead off in the last half of the 6th inning. Leadoff batter Lou Brock has been struck out twice. Ted Sizemore batting second once. Joe Torre once. Ted Simmons once. Joe Haig once. Jose Cruz twice. Dal Maxwell once. And Jerry Royce twice. Matty Alou is certainly one of the most difficult hitters in the league to fence. He's a contact type hitter. He just lays that bat on the ball. And the pitch by Nolan Ryan, a swing and a miss, strike 1. In 513 times at bat this year, Matty Alou has been struck out 22 times. Nolan Ryan swings out of his windup. Now the pitch curve, it's foul, back up on the screen. And the count is strike 2. Joe Torre on deck, and then Ted Simmons. The Cardinals lead 1-0. They scratched out a run in the first inning. He swinging and a miss. He struck him out. And Nolan Ryan gets Matty Alou. He now has each member of the Cardinal lineup, and he has 12 strikeouts in 5 1/3. Nolan keeps this kind of stuff. It'll get very interesting before the 9 innings are over. The all-time record, of course, is held by Tom Seaver and Steve Carlton. Carlton struck out 19 against New York. That was in a night game. Seaver 19 against San Diego in a day game at Shea Stadium. Joe Torre has 1 for 2. Swing and a miss, strike 1, a fastball. And Seaver is at his best, throwing as hard as he can strike out about as many as anybody. And here Nolan Ryan, generally conceded to be the fastest pitcher in the league, appears to have it all going. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Ryan is bringing it right to the hitters. Main question here is how long can Ryan keep this kind of stuff? He has been throwing as hard as he can and mixing up a good curveball from the very beginning. The 1-1 delivery. Ground ball bounced to second base. Boswell has it. Throws on to Clendenon. Torre is out. 2 down. Nolan Ryan, almost after each pitch in this inning, has been bending over and putting his hands on his knees like he's having a little trouble breathing. And Boswell comes in to talk to him about it. Now Clendenon comes in. Ryan has been acting while pitching to Alou and Torre as though something is bothering him. After every pitch he made to Matty Alou, he put his hands on his knees and tried to rest there for a moment. 2 outs and nobody on. The batter is Ted Simmons. Simmons has been called out, lined out to left. Simmons, a .330 hitter when he bats left. Fastball high, 1 ball, no strikes. The irony of the game, Ryan has walked only 1 man. That 1 man was Lou Brock leading off in the last of the first inning, and he came around to score the game's only run. Curve inside, 2 balls and no strikes. In the first inning, Brock walked. He stole second. He went to third on a ground ball hit to deep first by Matty Alou. Came home on Torre's base hit to right. And a foul ball back toward the press box. Is 2 balls and a strike. Torre, a right-hand hitter, and certainly a good one. Hit a little late, hit down on the ball. It took a very high hop, about 20 feet in the air, over Clendenon's head into right field for a run-scoring hit. Two balls, 1 strike to Ted Simmons. And a ground ball right at Kenny Boswell. He's up with it. On to Clendenon. The Cardinals again are down 1-2-3. 11 in a row retired by Nolan Ryan. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. At the end of 6 innings, the St. Louis Cardinals won. The New York Mets nothing. Lindsey Nelson will join you for the play-by-play in just a moment. And now a word from your local coach.
Take the family out to eat tonight. It's a treat they won't forget. And be sure to bring your appetite. We're expecting you. Your table is set.
What great dining awaits you at the Rainbow Restaurant. What goes better with fine food than quick, efficient service? The Rainbow is famous for both. Any night out should include dinner at the Rainbow, 16 East Main Street, Johnstown. Get the Rainbow habit. Good atmosphere, good food, and quick service. 3 things always plentiful at the Rainbow. For a real treat, stop there soon. The Rainbow Restaurant, 16 East Main Street in Johnstown. And there's plenty of free parking in their lot and back of the restaurant.
Give your family a treat. Take them out to eat.
And just so I don't forget the name of that restaurant, hey, feller, give me that name one more time.
The Rainbow Restaurant.
The paid attendance here tonight in St. Louis is 15,854. There are 1,863 not wholly here, making the total attendance to 16,717. The Cardinals' total paid attendance for this season now has reached 1,375,000. The New York Mets trail by a run as Jerry Grote comes up, and Danny Frisella is up and throwing in the bullpen. Grote is batting number 7 in the order. He has walked and grounded out. Nolan Ryan's thrown a lot of pitches here tonight and striking out 12 so far. Now Jerry Royce with the pitch to Grote, line into left field for a base hit. So it's a leadoff single as Grote smacks that one on the button to left field. Don Hahn is coming up. He's 2 for 2. And Ken Singleton has moved out on deck to bat for Nolan Ryan. So Ryan is through for the night. As Bob Murphy reported, during the last half inning, he appeared to be tiring. Was resting between pitches. Ball is bunted up the first base line. A good bunt taken there by Royce, and he goes to first base in time. Matty Alou retreated to take the throw, so it is a 1-3 sacrifice that moves Grote into scoring position at second, and here is Singleton to bat for Nolan Ryan. Singleton is hitting .247. He has 7 home runs and 28 runs batted in. Singleton batting right-handed against the lefty, Jerry Royce. The Cardinals lead 1-0. Got that run in the bottom of the first inning. Now the Mets bat in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch to Singleton, and it's in for a strike at the knees. Ted Martinez is on deck. Al Santorini is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the St. Louis Cardinals. Santorini. Royce sets up and checks the runner. Here's the strike one pitch to Singleton, and it's inside low for a ball, 1-1. Royce delivers, and the pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-1. In the 6 innings that he worked, Nolan Ryan allowed 1 run on 4 hits. He struck out 12, and he walked 1. Jerry Grote takes his lead at second base. Royce off the stretch, and here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled off to the right side, out of play. So the count's even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's 1 man out. Royce has struck out 7, and he's walked 3. Royce taking a little breather between pitches here. Now looks into catcher Ted Simmons as the sign sets up, and here is 2-2. In there for a call, strike 3. On the outside corner of the plate, that is strikeout number 8 for Jerry Royce. 2 Mets are away here in the top of the 7th inning, and Ted Martinez will be the batter. Struck out, and grounded into a force play. Right-hand batter. Royce with the pitch. It is low, pops off the glove of Simmons, but he retrieves. No advance for Grote at second. 2 away. Again, Grote takes his lead at second base. Royce sets up off the stretch, and here is the 1-0 delivery. Swung on it on the ground to second. Cut off by Matty Alou at first. He's racing for the bag, and he's safe at first base. Going to third is Grote. Matty Alou went wide of the bag at first to take the ball from in front of Sizemore. And then with Royce racing for the bag, Matty Alou decided he would try to outrun Ted Martinez. Martinez arrives first, is safe for the base hit. Grote goes to third, and Ken Boswell, a left-hand batter, is coming up. Boswell has struck out, grounded out to first base, and struck out. A left-hand batter facing a left-hand pitcher. That is base hit number 6 for the Mets in this game off Royce. The tying run is now at third. The possible go-ahead run is at first. 2 men out. Boswell started the night as the Mets' leading batter against left-hand pitching this year. But he's gone hitless in 3 times up tonight. Royce checks the runners at first and third, the pitch, and it is in there for a called strike. Leon Jones is on deck. Now Tom Gorman, plate umpire, goes halfway out to the mound to do a little groundskeeping. Picks up a piece of debris of some sort out there. Priscilla has finished warming up and is making his way down to the dugout of the New York Mets, where manager Gil Hodges is 1 foot up on the dugout steps looking out onto the field. Here's a pitch, swung on, hit on the ground, back to the mound, taken by Royce. He goes to Lou at first, and the side is retired. 4 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And in the middle of the 7th inning, the score is the Cardinals 1 and the Mets nothing. Well, the Mets have another treat in store for all the youngsters attending the September 13th Monday twilight doubleheader with the Montreal Expos. That evening has been designated as Picture Pack Night at Shea. Every boy and girl 16 years of age and under attending the Twin Bill will receive a handy pack of 20 autographed Met photos, including such favorites as manager Gil Hodges, Tom Seaver, Bud Harrelson, Cleon Jones, Tommy Agee, Ed Granville, Jerry Kuzman, Art Shamsky, and many others. We know that all the youngsters will want this picture pack to add to your Met collection. It's all yours on Monday evening, September 13th, when the Mets meet the Montreal Expos in a twilight doubleheader that will start at 5:35 p.m. So mark that down in your baseball calendar, and remember, boys and girls alike, 16 years of age and under, will receive the handy pack of 20 autographed Met photos. The New York Mets now bring Danny Priscilla in to do the pitching. Nolan Ryan worked 6 innings, gave up 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 12 and walked 1. Bud Harrelson is out there warming up. Pitcher Priscilla, while Grody is donning the regalia. Danny Priscilla is making his 43rd appearance. He's won 6 games, and he's lost 3. He's pitched 71 innings and has an earned run average of 2.15, and he's been credited with 8 saves this year. We'll be here again tomorrow night, and a big matchup. We'll see Tom Seaver going against Bob Gibson tomorrow night. We'll be on air at 9 p.m. Then at the conclusion of tomorrow night's game, the Mets will fly on to Philadelphia. Priscilla's first pitch is high for a ball. He makes effective use of a fork ball. Now the 1-0 delivery. Low. It's 2-0. Jose Cruz is on deck for the Cards. Got there running the first when Lou Brock walked and stole second. The swing and a high fly ball to center field. Don Hahn has it lined up as he moves over toward left. He's there. He makes the catch. 1 away. Jose Cruz just about it. Struck out. In that first inning, Brock walked, stole second, moved to third on an infield base hit by Matty Alou, and Joe Torre bounced the ball over the head of first baseman Don Clendenin to drive in that 1 run, and that's all the scoring we've had in the ball game tonight. Pitch to Cruz, and it's low in the dirt. Scooped out of there by Jerry Grody. Jerry's wife, Sharon Grody, is here tonight at the ballpark celebrating a birthday. Now the 1-0 pitch breaks a little low, so it's 2-0 to Jose Cruz. Number 7 batter in the Cardinal batting order. They're managed, of course, by Red Shanedean. There's a fastball, and it's in there for a strike, 2-1. Dow Maxwell is swinging bats in the on-deck circle. Here's the 2-1. Breaks low, so it goes to 3-1 now to Cruz. Three-1 pitch. Low, it's a walk to Jose Cruz. So the Cardinals pick up their first base runner since the third inning. When Ryan went out of the ballgame, he had retired 11 batters in a row. But in striking out 12, had thrown a great many pitches. Maxwell is up, single, and struck out. Clendenon holds against the runner at first. Purcell takes the sign, sets up, checks over his shoulder, and deals a pitch to the right-hand batter runner, going swinging to miss, throw to second. He is out. As Boswell took the ball and made the tag at second, Maxwell threw his bat at the ball, trying to protect the run, and the bat went on past the mound. So there are 2 men out. Well, it's all over at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates have won another by a final score of 7-5. Pittsburgh got 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th to come from behind and win it. Bruce Keeson takes the win in relief. He's 4-4. Joe Horner is the loser. He has won 4 and lost 4. So the Pirates, on top in the East, win another. Gets a check swing ground ball to short. A big hop up to Martinez, and a throw to Clendenon. The side is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, and none left. The end of 7 full innings of play in St. Louis. The score is the Cardinals 1, the Mets nothing.
Remember this hit of the 50s? Yes, those were fabulous years. The years when hi-fi first came into being. The years when stars like Dinah Shore, Johnny Ray, Frankie Lane, and Rosemary Clooney were in their heyday. And now Columbia has put the greatest songs of that era into a fantastic new 4-record collection with 50 fabulous hits of the 50s. All the original hits by the artists that made them famous.
Oh, let me go. Let me
It's an amazing collection. All the hits, the love songs, the golden greats from this golden era. Not in any store at any price, but it's yours now for only $5.95. Yes, you get 50 of 50's greatest. The fabulous 50s on 4 big, long-playing stereo records for just $5.95. Money-back guarantee from Columbia, of course. So order now.
Send $5.95 to Fabulous 50s, WIZR, Post Office Box 307, Johnstown, New York, 12095.
We'll be going here to the 8th inning, but before we do, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You're listening to New York Mets Baseball, over, WIZR-FM, 104.9 from Johnstown, New York. It's 11 p.m.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy in St. Louis, Missouri, where the Cardinals lead the Mets 1-0 through 7. Top of the 8th inning, Cleon Jones will lead off for the Mets. Facing left-handed Jerry Royce, who has started. He's come all the way, allowed the Mets 6 hits. He has struck out 8 and he's walked 3. Jones, single, grounded out and flied out. Royce has a record of 12 wins and 12 losses. First pitch is low for a ball to Cleon Jones. Jones, Clendenon, and Agee scheduled up for the Mets here in the 8th inning. The big guns in the batting order. That is low. In the 7th inning, the Mets got a runner as far as third base for the first time tonight. Had runners at first and third when Boswell smashed the ground ball back to the mound. It was taken by Royce, and he threw him out. Pitch to Jones is low. Royce goes behind 3-0 now to Cleon. He looks to Eddie Yost, the sign man at third, to see if he's taking 3-0. The pitch outside. Walked him on 4 pitches. Jones to first. Clendenon is coming up. Struck out, grounded out, and struck out. People who care don't litter, and the people of Rheingold care. They ask you to keep America beautiful. Dodgers are leading Houston by a score of 6-1 going to the bottom of the 9th inning in Houston. Clendenon fouls it off to the right side. It's strike 1. Warm-ups in San Francisco. George Stone for Atlanta and Gaylord Perry for the San Francisco Giants, who lead the Dodgers by 8 games in the National League West on this, the last day of August. Now the pitch to Clendenin. Low for a ball. At the conclusion of this game, the New York Mets will have 30 left to play. 15 at home and 15 on the road. The tying run is at first base with nobody out. Royce sets up. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled off to the left side, out of play. 1-2 to Don Clendenin. It's all over at the Astrodome in Houston. The Dodgers have won by a final score of 6-1 over the Astros, who have lost 7 of their last 8 at home in the Astrodome. And that is unusual. Doyle Alexander, the winner, his 6th. Ron Cook, the loser, he's 0-4. Parker had a home run for the Dodgers. Swinging and a Clendenin strikes out. Strikeout number 9 for Jerry Royce. Tommy Agee is coming up. Jones holding it first. Agee walked and singled to center. On base 3 consecutive times. Cardinals won, the Mets nothing, and the Cards got that run in the bottom of the first inning, and they've made it stand up so far behind the clutch pitching of Jerry Royce. Here's a swing and a tip back into the glove of catcher Ted Simmons. It's strike 1. Mets will be here again tomorrow night, then into Philadelphia for 5, and then up to Montreal for 3. Back on September 9th for the Mayo's Trophy game against the Yankees at Shea. Here's a pitch high. 1-1. Then the Phillies are in New York for a weekend set starting on Friday night, September 10th. Royce steps off the rubber for a moment, mops his brow. It's been a warm evening here in St. Louis. It was a warm day. Matty Alou holds against the runner Jones at first. The 1-1 pitch to Agee is high, and it's 2-1. Al Santorini is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Two-one pitch. In the air to center field, and Cruz is right there. It's deep, but he makes the catch. Jones halfway, retreats to first. Bob Aspromonte is coming up. Hit into a double play, popped out to the catcher, and grounded out second to first. Royce sets up again now. Here's the pitch. It is high for a ball. The word from Pittsburgh is that Willie Stargell did not drive in any runs tonight for the Pirates, so Joe Torre of these Cardinals has assumed the major league lead in runs batted in. He drove in the one that's been scored here tonight, which was his 113th. Stargell has 112. Throw to first. Jones is back. One and 0 is the count to Bob Aspromonte at the plate. Royce checks Jones. This pitch is low for a ball. 2-0 to Aspromonte with Grody on deck. St. Louis Cardinals trying, of course, to move up on the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are on top in the Eastern Division, but of course they can't do that as long as the Pirates continue to win, as they did tonight. Swinging a drive for a base hit into left field. On the ground, picked up by Lou Brock. Played back, Jones moves to second. Aspromonte's on at first base, hit number 7 for the Mets. Cardinals have had only 4. Jerry Grody's up now. The tying run is at second with 2 men out, and here comes Bud Harrelson around to run for Aspromonte. Harrelson runs for Aspromonte. At first, Jones is at second. Grote walked, grounded out, and singled to left. Here's the pitch to Grote. Hit on the ground, and it is going to go through in the right field for a base hit. Jones gets the green light. Here's the throw to the plate, and Jones scores, sliding across the plate. Harrelson is at third. Joe Haig came up throwing. Holding at first is Grote with a ground single to right, a run batted in, and the score is tied 1-1. Now Don Hahn is being called back to the dugout. Don Hahn marches back rather to the on-deck circle. He's going to bat. He just went back to get a little rosin. Now he marches back toward the plate. So with 2 men out, the score is tied 1-1. Harrelson is at third. Grote is at first. Grote driving in the tying run. That's 8 hits for the Mets off Royce. Don Hahn is 2 for 2 in a sacrifice here tonight against the left-hander. A base hit here would send the Mets out in front. Hahn bats with 2 men out. The Mets are batting here in the top of the 8th inning. Don Shaw has joined the bullpen crew now, up and throwing for the Cardinals. The pitch is in for a strike to Hahn. Santorini and Shaw, a right-hander and a left-hander, working in the Cardinal bullpen. Tug McGraw starts to work in the Met bullpen with pitcher Danny Frisella out there on deck. Pitch to Hahn, swung on and missed. It's strike 2 with a curveball. The Mets won, the Cardinals won. Ryan is off the hook now, went out of the game as pitcher of record on the short side of a 1-0 score. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Strikeout number 10 for Royce. He got Hahn on 3 pitches. 1 run, 2 hits, no walk, no errors, and 2 left. And in the middle of the 8th inning, the score is tied. The Mets won. The Cardinals won.
This is Trooper Reppenhagen of your New York State Police. Do you know how to prevent a deadly head-on crash? On a straight road, watch for a long line of vehicles behind a slow-moving truck. Someone may get impatient and try to pass. Leave yourself an escape route. On a curve, be alert for another car from the opposite direction, drifting across the center line. Slow down before entering curves. Apply steady power when in the curve. At an intersection, oncoming traffic always has the right-of-way. Keep wheels straight until all is clear. Otherwise, a bump from the rear will send you head-on into oncoming traffic.
The New York Mets leave Bud Harrelson in the ball game, and he takes over at shortstop with Ted Martinez moving over to third. You recall that Harrelson ran for Aspromonte, so Harrelson bats number 6 in the Met batting order in place of Aspromonte. Frisella ready to start his second inning of relief work as the Cardinals come up here in the bottom of the 8th, and Royce will bat for himself. Royce has been up twice, struck out both times. He has registered a total of 10 strikeouts on the mound tonight. Ryan struck out 12. Doug McGraw continues to throw in the Met bullpen with Frisella scheduled to lead off in the top of the 9th. Pitch to Royce is in for a called strike. Danny Frisella delivers. Swung on and missed. It's strike 2. The youngsters, thousands of them in the upper deck here in St. Louis, starting a chant of "We Want to Hit." 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. Frisella strikes out Royce on 3 pitches. first strikeout credited to Priscilla, the 13th credited to Met pitching tonight. Lou Brock is up. Struck out twice, but walked in the first inning and scored the run after stealing second. The pitch is low for a ball to Brock, who's followed by Sizemore. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled off. It's 1-1. Well, as we are on the verge of turning into September in the American League, the Baltimore Orioles in the East and the Oakland A's in the West appear to have comfortable leads. Barring catastrophe, it would appear that it will be Baltimore and Oakland meeting in the championship series for the American League pennant. Pitch is on away for a ball, 2-1. In the National League, the Pittsburgh Pirates in the East and the San Francisco Giants in the West are not as comfortably situated as are the American League leaders. There's a swing and a miss. It's 2-2. However, both the Pirates in the East and the Giants in the West have seen their nearest competitors take a run at them and then drop back. Both the Cardinals and the Cubs had a move at Pittsburgh and then fell off. And the Dodgers have had a couple of runs at the Giants and have fallen back. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and this Priscilla strikes out Brock. Priscilla's second strikeout. The 14th strikeout credited to the Met pitcher. Ted Sizemore is the batter. He's 1 for 3. Check swing foul ball to the right side out of play. It's strike one. Two men out with nobody on base. Score tied 1-1. That's high for a ball. It's 1-1. Swing at a high foul ball down the left field line. Martinez is over, and so is Harrelson, but nobody can get it. It drifts into the seats. 1-2. Priscilla walks down to the infield turf to rub up the ball. Mets have had 8 hits here tonight. The Cardinals have had 4. 1-2 delivery. Rides high. It's 2-2. Nobody on base, and Matty Alou waits on deck. 2-2 pitch. Swung on it. On the ground is short. Harrelson's there. Up with it across the Clendenin. Side is out in order. So Priscilla has faced just 6 batters in the 2 innings. Nothing across. The end of 8. The score is the Mets 1, the Cardinals 1. Now here's a...
Nanette Fabre.
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, but we do. When we pollute the air and the water, when we strip the land of minerals and leave the soil to erode, when we overpopulate the earth, we're throwing stones at our fragile environment, and it's breaking. Some people are still throwing stones, but you don't have to. You can stop and think and rebuild. For more information, write the National Rifle Association, Washington, D.C., 20036. That's NRA, Washington, D.C.
Presented as a public service by your local Rod and Gun Club, an affiliate of the National Rifle Association, now observing its centennial year.
The Mets will send up Dan Frisella to bat for himself here, leading off in the top of the ninth inning. Manager Gil Hodges has only one right-hand batter on his bench available, Duffy Dyer, who is his backup catcher. So Frisella, a left-hand batter, will face left-hand pitcher Jerry Royce. Score tied 1-1 in the ninth. Here's the pitch. And it's in there for a called strike. Frisella, Martinez, and Boswell scheduled up for the Mets here in the ninth inning. Royce has been in all the way. He struck out 10 and walked 4. That pitch rides high. It's 1-1. This is the last day of August, which means that tomorrow the squad limit goes from 25 to 40 for Major League teams. And you will see all sorts of strange names popping up in box scores. Here's a pitch in for a strike. It's 1-2. In most cases, minor leaguers will not report until their minor league season has been concluded, so it depends on whether or not a particular team is in the season's end playoffs. Here's a 1-2 pitch inside. It's 2-2. But they'll be coming up any time now. As a matter of fact, the New York Mets will reactivate Tim Foley tomorrow. He's here. He's on the trip, but has not been eligible because he has not been on the roster. Here's a swing and a foul ball off and out of play. It's 2-2. So he will be available starting tomorrow night. Two balls, two strikes to Frisella. The Mets 1 run, 8 hits, and the Cardinals 1 run, 4 hits. 2-2 delivery, swung on, and it's laced into right center, base hit. And over to cut it off is Cruz, and he holds Frisella to a single. Frisella hung out a line drive. So, the Mets have a runner at first, and Martinez looks down to Eddie Yost to see if he's sacrificing. That's the 9th hit for the Mets off Royce. A leadoff single here in the top of the 9th with the score tied. Now, Martinez is 1 for 4. He's around to bunt, bunts the ball up first base line. Matty Alou goes to first base in time. He almost turned that ball loose to second to Dow Maxwell, who was covering, but changed his mind at the last possible moment and made the peg over to Sizemore covering. Sacrifice 3-4. It moves Danny Frisella into scoring position. A good bunt by Ted Martinez, and that brings up Boswell. Boswell is 0 for 4 tonight. Struck out, grounded out to first base. Struck out, grounded out pitcher to first. The go-ahead run in scoring position at second base with one man out in the ninth. Score tied 1-1. Left-hand pitcher facing a left-hand batter. Royce steps off. Boswell steps out. Double barrel action begins again in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Santorini and Shaw. As a breaking pitch low to Boswell. Cleon Jones is waiting on deck. Mets trying to push one across here to take the lead in the top half of the 9th inning. There's a swing and a ground ball to the right side, a foul ball. Yogi Berra comes off the coaching line to retrieve it. 1-1 to Boswell. Frisella takes his lead at second base. That pitch misses outside. It's a fastball. 2-1. Cardinals got a run in the first, and the Mets could not get one until the 8th to tie it at 1-1. Royce has the sign. This will be a 2-1 pitch, and it's on the way. Swung on it in the air to left field, and moving over is Brock. He makes the catch. Frisella halfway retreats to second. 2 men are out, and Cleon Jones is the Met batter. Jones is 1 for 3 in a walk. He had a leadoff walk in the 8th and scored the Met run. Jones is batting .329 for the season. He is the number 5 batter in the National League. Now here comes Red Shanedace, the manager of the Cardinals, out to the mound. Joe Torre, the field captain, is over there. And their question is this: do you want to work to Cleon Jones, Or do you want to put him on? First base is open and work to Don Clendenin. Clendenin has gone 0 for 4 and has been struck out 3 times. Jones, if put on, would not represent a run that means anything because the go-ahead run is the one at second base. Score is tied 1-1. Shane Daintz now leaves the mound and runs back to the dugout of the St. Louis Cardinals. And the decision is, I believe, to put him on. Yes, it is. It's going to be an intentional walk to Jones. There's the pitch outside for ball 1. They have elected to walk Jones and pitch to Clendenin. This will be the 5th walk issued here tonight by Royce, the first one intentionally. Three and 0 the count to Jones, motionless there in the batter's box. Bat on his shoulder. Simmons now moves out to take ball 4. Jones gets rid of the bat and goes to first base. Porcello holds at second. Clendenin is the batter. Last night he had 3 base hits, 2 of them off changeups. Tonight he struck out swinging, grounded out third to first, struck out swinging, and struck out swinging. Bullpen crew stops work for the Cards to look out onto the field now. The score is tied 1-1 as the Mets make a bid here in the top of the 9th inning. Royce walks up to the top of the mound. On the rubber. Looks in to Ted Simmons for his sign. Porcello leaves at second and Jones at first with 2 men out. The pitch to Clendenin. Swung on and missed. It's strike 1. Clendenin is hitting .240. He's had 10 homers and 31 runs batted in. Royce now takes his handkerchief to dry off his hands. Pops the ball in the glove a time or two as he steps up again to get the sign. Now the pitch. Fastball in for a call, strike 2. 0-2 to Don Clendenin. Met runners lead at first and second with 2 away. This is a 2-strike delivery, and it's on the way. Hit on the ground toward third. Charged by Torrey. Short hopped at place to first, and in time, the side is retired. No runs, a hit, a walk, no errors, and 2 left. In the middle of the 9th inning, the score is still tied. The Mets won, the Cardinals won.
This is Nancy E. Casey, Executive Director of the Fulmont Chapter of the Red Cross. Did you know that the Red Cross is the only agency that can and does verify information for the military regarding servicemen and their families? The Red Cross is seeking 10 volunteers from Fulton County to donate 1 night a month to serve on our Service to Military Families program. Remember, the extent and quality of services performed by the Red Cross are dependent upon the availability of dedicated, well-trained volunteers. For information on how you can volunteer, call the Johnstown office from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. The number is 762-9385.
Danny Porcello will face Matty Alou, Joe Torrey, and Ted Simmons, batting for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th with the score tied 1-1. Alou is 1 for 3. He had an infield hit in the first inning. For the year, he's hitting .313. Through 8 1/2 innings, the Mets 1 run, 9 hits, no errors. The Cardinals 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. Porcello in 2 innings has faced 6 batters. He walked Cruz in the 7th inning, but Cruz was thrown out stealing. That's the only base runner that Porcello has allowed. He struck out 2. Nolan Ryan worked the first 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, struck out 12, and walked only 1. But that 1 scored the Cardinal run in the first inning. Matty Alou, batting number 3 in the order, is a left-hand batter. Priscilla with his first pitch in the bottom of the ninth. Hit on top of the plate and bounds away from Grody. It's ball one. Joe Torre is waiting on deck. He is the National League's leading batter. Manager Gil Hodges up and pacing a little bit in the dugout of the New York Mets. This pitch is low. It's 2-0. "21 years ago today, Gil Hodges hit 4 home runs for the Brooklyn Dodgers in a game against the Boston Braves. That's low. Now it's 3-0 to Matty Alou. A big 3-0 pitch coming here. Right in there, 3-1. Alou looks to Vern Benson to see if he's taking 3-1. You'd expect him to be turned loose. 3-1's on the way. Bunted up the third baseline. Priscilla has it, but he has no play. It's a base hit. A base hit from Matty Alou. Priscilla did fire it on over to first, but Alou was across by several steps. He bunted the 3-1 pitch. So it is potential winning run on at first, nobody out, and Torrey up. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You're listening to New York Mets Baseball on WIZR-FM 104.9 from Johnstown, New York. It's 11:30.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Tanner and Bob Murphy in St. Louis, Missouri. The National League's leading batter, hitting .361, Joe Torre at the plate. Score tied 1-1. Nobody out. Matty Alou takes the lead at first. Priscilla throws over there. He's back safely. The hit was number 5 for the Cardinals in this game. Torre fouls it back, and it's strike one. The full cut and fouled it away. Well, here's where you run into all sorts of conflicting schools of thought about how the game of baseball is played strategically. This is the league's leading batter up there. There's nobody out. There's one school of thought that says you have him sacrificed even if he is the league's leading batter. And the other says, no, you don't waste him that way. There's a swing and a miss. It's strike two. Because were the circumstances otherwise, you would expect the strategy to be to sacrifice the possible winning run into scoring position at second base. Ted Simmons is on deck, and he is a fellow who is batting .292. 0-2 the count to Torrey. Tug McGraw is up and throwing again in the Met bullpen. Priscilla delivers and has a swing and a drive into center field for a base hit. Matty Alou moves up to second. Down on, up with the ball, plays it back. Alou holds at second. Torrey's on. His second base hit of the night. Now you expect the sacrifice, and Vern Benson, the third base coach, comes all the way down to have a direct word with Ted Simmons. You expect the sacrifice here to try to move runners up and get them out of a forced situation, and also to put the winning run at third where it could score on an outfield fly a number of other ways. If it is successful, you would expect the New York Mets to walk the succeeding batter. Here comes Gil Hodges out of the dugout now. Simmons is a switch hitter. Hodges coming out of the dugout and walking slowly toward the mound. The Mets had been having a little strategy meeting, Martinez, Harrelson, Priscilla, about how they would play an expected bunt. Hodges has arrived at the mound. Now the sign goes to the bullpen. That's all for Priscilla, and Tug McGraw is coming in. McGraw is coming in now. Priscilla has worked 2 innings, and he has faced 2 batters here in the ninth. So far charging no runs, but responsible for runners at first and second. Allowed 2 hits, struck out 2, and walked 1. Tug McGraw, the man with the lowest earned run average of any pitcher in the National League, is coming in. McGraw has a record of 10 wins and 4 losses. 10 is the most he's ever won in a season in the majors. And in addition, he's been credited with 7 saves. In working 90 innings, he has struck out 84 batters. He makes effective use of a screwball. Taking his warm-up pitches now. Pittsburgh Pirates won their game tonight from the Phillies 7-5, and the Dodgers won theirs from Houston 6-1. Atlanta nothing, the Giants nothing in the second inning at San Francisco. This afternoon, the Cubs won one game by a score of 7-6 over Montreal. The end of 6 innings were trailing 8-1 in the second game, which was suspended because of darkness and will be completed tomorrow. This is Doug McGraw's 200th pitcher, 200th game as a Met pitcher. Only one other has as many as 200, Ron Taylor. McGraw's last time out against the Dodgers, he worked 1 2/3, allowed no runs, no hits. He worked in the last 2 games of the series against the Dodgers and got the win in each game. So he rested last night and is being brought back right here in the 9th inning of this game as the St. Louis Cardinals are threatening. Score is tied 1-1. There are runners at first and second with nobody out. Ted Simmons, a switch hitter, will be batting. Charlie Williams is up and throwing in the Met bullpen. An outfielder, Luis Melendez, is throwing down in the bullpen area for the Cardinals. Now the switch hitter Simmons turns around to bat right. Clendenon coming in on the infield service at first, trying to put a little pressure on. They expect the bunt here. He's around the bunt and takes high. Grody bluffs the throw to second. That sends Matty Alou hastening back, but no throw is made. Third baseman Ted Martinez is hanging around the cutout of the grass at third, ready to retreat to the bag for a throw in a force attempt there. Now, third base coach Vern Benson comes down to have a word with Simmons again. This is not a time to miss a sign, as far as the Cardinals are concerned. Score is tied here, 1-1. McGraw steps off the rubber, bluffs the throw, does not turn the ball loose, and Alou slides back in at second. He gets up and dashes off for about 6 or 8 feet in a bluff attempt. Harrelson's trying to hold him as close as possible. Now the pitch to Simmons, low for a ball. It's 2-0. On the follow-through, McGraw is coming down off the mound on the third base side. Clendenon pressuring on the first base side. Their intent is to be able to scoop up the bunt quickly and fire it over to Martinez at third with the hope of getting a force on Alou there. Torrey is the runner at first with nobody out. Simmons around and watches the pitch in for a called strike. It's 2-1. He was around in bunting stance. Again, Ted Simmons looks to Vern Benson, the coach at third. He has his sign. McGraw sets. Simmons around, watches low, and McGraw has gone behind 3-1 now to Ted Simmons. Now he wants another sign. Is the bunt on? Is the take on? What does he do? Waiting on deck is left-hand batter Joe Haig, who has gone 0 for 3 tonight. Might not let him bat against the left-hander. 3-1 pitch. He's around the bunt. Watches in for a called strike. It's 3-2. So now the count is full to Simmons at 3-2. Now what do? Do you leave the bunt on? Do you let him swing away? Of course, the thing that haunts managers in this circumstance is the double play possibility.
The payoff pitch is on the way. Line to the left for a base hit. Alou is around third. He's coming home. Jones overruns the ball, and the game is over. The Cardinals have won it. The St. Louis Cardinals have won it. A 3-2 base hit by Ted Simmons, squarely into left, and as Jones moved up to try to field the ball as quickly as possible and get off a throw, he overran the ball, did not handle it cleanly, but it wouldn't have made any difference. There's no error charged as the run scores on the run batted in. The St. Louis Cardinals have pulled it out and won it in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Nobody out when the winning run was scored. Priscilla is the losing pitcher, and Royce, of course, is the winner. Here are the final totals for the Cardinals. 2 runs on 7 hits and no errors. For the Mets, 1 run on 9 hits and no errors. The winner is Jerry Royce, his 13th win. He has lost 12. The loser, Danny Priscilla, he has won 6 and he has lost 4. Again, the final score, the Cardinals 2 and the Mets 1. So until tomorrow night, speaking for Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy, this is Lindsey Nelson saying so long. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.